African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation on the 4th of April, 2025. From March 29th to April 4th, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out 7 group strikes with high-precision weapons and attack unmanned aerial vehicles, which resulted in the destruction of the infrastructure of military airfields, an enterprise of the rocket and space industry of Ukraine, command posts, assembly shops, and storage sites for attack unmanned aerial vehicles. In addition, ammunition depots, explosives production sites, as well as temporary deployment points for SBU units, Ukrainian armed forces, and foreign mercenaries were hit. Over the course of the week, units of the North Group of Forces continued to destroy Ukrainian armed forces formations in the Kursk region. Airstrikes, drone strikes, and artillery fire damaged the manpower and equipment of the mechanized unit, 3 airborne assault brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, and a territorial defense brigade. In the Kharkov and Belgorod directions, units of 3 mechanized brigades, a motorized infantry brigade, an unmanned systems brigade, 2 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, a marine brigade, and 3 territorial defense brigades were defeated. Over the past week, in the area of responsibility of the North Group of Forces, the enemy's losses amounted to over 1,910 servicemen, 4 tanks, 34 combat armored vehicles, and 72 cars. 18 field artillery guns, 3 electronic warfare stations, and 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the West Group of Forces improved their tactical position. They defeated the manpower and equipment of 3 mechanized, 2 assault brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a territorial defense brigade, and a border detachment of the Ukrainian Border Service. The enemy lost over 1,505 servicemen, 5 tanks, 18 armored combat vehicles, including 10 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carriers, 32 vehicles, 36 field artillery pieces, including 15 Western-made, 13 electronic warfare stations, and 12 field ammunition depots were destroyed. As a result of active and decisive actions, units of the Southern Group of Forces liberated the settlements of Panteleimonovka and Rozovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. Defeat was inflicted on the formations of 7 mechanized, 2 ranger, motorized infantry, mountain assault, airmobile, assault brigades, a regiment of unmanned aerial systems of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a territorial defense brigade, 2 brigades of the National Guard, the Light Assault Brigade of the National Police of Ukraine, and the Azov Special Forces Brigade. Over the course of a week, the Ukrainian Armed Forces lost up to 1,975 servicemen, 7 tanks, 21 combat armored vehicles, including 5 M113 armored personnel carriers and a U.S.-made HMMWV armored vehicle, 36 vehicles, 11 field artillery guns, 2 electronic warfare stations, and 4 field ammunition depots were destroyed. As a result of decisive actions by units of the Center Group of Forces, the settlements of Zaporizhzhia and Uspanovka of the Donetsk People's Republic were liberated. The manpower and equipment of 4 mechanized, 2 assault, infantry, airmobile, and ranger brigades, 2 unmanned systems brigades, an assault regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a marine brigade, 2 National Guard brigades, and the Omega Special Forces unit were damaged. That the losses of the Ukrainian Armed Forces amounted to over 3,150 servicemen, 7 tanks, including 2 Leopard tanks made in Germany, 19 armored combat vehicles, including 2 VAB armored personnel carriers made in France, an M113 armored personnel carrier, and an HMMWV armored car made in the USA. 39 vehicles and 27 artillery pieces were destroyed, including 3 Western-made ones. Units of the East Group of Forces continued to advance into the depths of the enemy's defenses and liberated the settlements of Razliv and Veseloy of the Donetsk People's Republic. The following formations were defeated: a tank brigade, 3 mechanized brigades, an infantry brigade, a mountain assault brigade, a ranger brigade, an airmobile brigade of the Ukrainian armed forces, a marine brigade, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade. The enemy lost over 945 servicemen, 3 tanks, an armored combat vehicle, 16 vehicles, and 18 field artillery pieces, including 2 Polish-made 155mm Crab self-propelled artillery units. 4 electronic warfare stations were destroyed. As a result of active operations, units of the Dnepr military group liberated the settlements of Sherbaki and Lobkovo in the Zaporizhia region. They inflicted losses on the manpower and equipment of 3 mechanized, mountain assault brigades, 3 coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, and 2 territorial defense brigades. That the Ukrainian armed forces lost over 435 servicemen, a tank, 4 combat armored vehicles, including a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 26 vehicles, and 2 field artillery guns. 7 electronic warfare stations, 10 ammunition and fuel depots were destroyed. Over the course of a week, air defense systems shot down 15 American JDAM guided aerial bombs, 4 U.S.-made Mars multiple launch rockets, a Uragan multiple launch rocket, and 895 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 660 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 49,774 unmanned aerial vehicles, 601 anti-aircraft missile systems, 22,689 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,534 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 23,221 field artillery and mortar guns, 33,696 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.